Hi everyone, Sid here, back in the bathroom, ready for part 2 of my Flat Earth adventures, and this one is for my Flat Earther friends. So those of you who believe in a globe, like I do, you can bear with me. This is all about, as promised in the last episode in this series, this is all about leading with the olive branch. So, I'm gonna go back to the beginning. There were many aha moments for me when I watched a couple months ago the Stefan Molyneux video where he was talking with a flat earther. And by the way, if your eyes rolled even internally at the mere mention of that video, the stuff I'm gonna say at the end, I'm definitely talking to you. But moving on, there were several aha moments in that video, and the one that I want to mention, which kind of spawned, led to this series even taking place, was that I actually do have several things in common with flat earthers. Let me just put it that way. So the first thing that I want to get into is no sacred cows. I'm an anarchist, as I've said on this channel, and I can totally relate with being in the position of having a highly controversial position, and I totally get it. Like what made me what made me say this aha moment was when Stefan was asking questions, and then he said, I appreciate your patience. I hate to sound like one of those people who's asking, but what about the roads? And that's when it clicked for me, and I'm like, yeah, that's true. I mean, for me, one of my favorite podcasts in the Liberty Movement, which is the No State Project, which I've filmed a video about before, links below. The very premise of that podcast is that Marc Stevens teaches people a method of defending yourself from government attacks, which involves challenging the applicability of the laws and the jurisdiction of the court. And, it's that's something that sounds totally nuts, and there's many recordings of him, being insulted by government officials when asking for evidence of those claims. I'll be right back. And the funny thing is, I actually am open to the possibility that we're living on a giant dinner plate. I remember I was watching a recent episode of Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, and this one was about Flat Earth and the future, I believe. And in it, one of these people in the round table was a person who wasn't like 100% bona fide Flat Earther. And I remember, I forget who asked him the question, but someone said, okay, so from 1 to 10, 1 being no doubt about it, absolutely we live on a globe, and 10 being absolutely no doubt about it, we live on a flat earth. And I instantly said, I guess I'm a 1.5. But moving on, the other thing that I have that I can empathize with flat earthers with is that as the holder of a controversial position, the thing is, and you're not going to like me for this, the burden of proof is absolutely 100% on you. Oh, fuck. Fucked myself up pretty good there. So yeah, the burden of proof is entirely on you, and I can empathize with how maddening it is. I mean, I wish that I could just point to a video of a cop losing his shit over some nonsense, which never happens, by the way, and just say, this cop lost his shit, therefore we need to get rid of all government. But it doesn't work that way, and you have to have respect for what the consensus position is. And again, seeing it from your perspective, I'm sure there's many things that you're sure that you've proven many times over, and yet you keep facing stuff like, I don't know, how come boats disappear hull first over the horizon? Or, I don't know, how do sunsets work? Or, I don't know, how does gravity work? So I get it. However, you know, for me, because I know something flat earthers say a lot is, well, we've never really proven that it's a globe. And irrespective of the truth value of that statement, on my end, when I'm discussing anarchism or libertarianism with people, I keep coming up with these non-proven things also. Things like the will of the people and the consent of the governed, and what about the roads, what about the poor, and all that shit. So I get how frustrating it is, but the bottom line is you can't just shrug off the burden of proof on the majority position, no matter to what extent it would suit you to do so. Again, coming back to my police abuse video, I would love it to be able to just share that and say, you see, government is immoral, taxation is left, we got to get rid of them all. I'll be right back. And the other thing that I could empathize with flat earthers for, and from the little I know this seems to have escalated recently, is the infighting. I mean, there's some infighting within anarchism and the liberty movement also, and I'm just as tired of people arguing over split hairs. Although, one nuance that I'll point out is that within the liberty movement, the infighting tends to revolve around this statement you've said contradicts this other statement you've said, or you seem to have done a 180 on your position with regards to such and such issue. Manu that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, he's been getting that a lot lately, especially with regards to Trump and shit. But infighting within the flat earther movement, you know what? Let me just do the mustache and then I'll be right with you. So yeah, infighting within the flat earth movement seems to boil down with, you're a shill, no, you're a shill, no, that's what a shill would say, shill, stop shilling me, shill, you're a shill, shill alert, and that kind of stuff. And I can empathize with how, I'm going to do a third pass, how someone who just wants to focus on the fact that the earth is a dinner plate would get turned off by that. I get it, and it sucks. Now, before I leave you, actually, yeah, I won't do a third pass. So, before I leave you, though, I do want to give a little preview of why, despite the hours of flat Earth content I've consumed, I am still very much firmly a globe earther. There's one thing. Basically, if you want to lose credibility with me like that, just advance a rule and then break it. I call this the mirror test, and I shot a video of this very early on. I'll link to it below. But, you know, the more controversial the thing you're trying to convince me of, the more I would even say that it's a commandment. Like, thou shalt not violate thy own rule while making thy case. And this is something that I see so often and so frequently that I've coined the term flat earth shuffle to describe this phenomena. And the most frequent one I see by far, you'll see this peppered everywhere throughout flat earth videos, is I'll give the general form, which is, don't trust photo evidence. Now take a look at these pictures. A more specific case, which fortunately I don't see very often because it drives me nuts when I do, is don't trust NASA footage. Now take a look at this footage of this rocket taking off. It's like, it might be true, but as far as I'm concerned, if you fail the mirror test as a messenger, your credibility shoots down to virtually zero. I mean, and I was thinking about this while preparing for this video. If Brett Veinotte in his first episodes of School Sucks had said, accept the non-aggression principle or I'll find you and kill you, then I might still be a socialist today, and I might be advocating for a $55 an hour minimum wage, or maybe $1 million a week guaranteed minimum income and stuff like that. So this is really important. So I'm gonna wrap up and tend to this massive gash on my lip later. And what I want to say is for the flat earthers who are still watching this, first of all, thank you. Second of all, if you don't like having your position criticized in a buck wild way, skip part 3 and maybe part 4 too, because Sid the Troll was locked up nicely in his cage. But in the next video, he's gonna buck wild. He's gonna go buck wild. A bit like I'm pretending the globe earthers aren't here in this video. Next video, you're not here, as far as I'm concerned. And I hope to fit what I want to get out in one video. It might be 2, I'm not sure. So if you're sensitive and if you rolled your eyes at the mere mention of that Molyneux video, I'm definitely talking to you. Please come back to my for my message to flat earthers. This is really why I started this series. I might continue after, it depends how I feel. I'm spacing these out on purpose, and come back for that. I will put links to the Flat Earth Adventures playlist under this video, and in this one I'll also put a link to my message to flat earthers, and if I feel like it, I will also put a link to it here. So we'll see whether this is an actual message box next to my finger or not. We'll see. So that will be it as far as what I have to say to you guys. And for the ball earthers or globe earthers, thank you for bearing with me. And you guys will probably massively enjoy part 3. So on that note, thank you very much for watching. I did everything, so thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, leave comments under this video, and you will find links under here to my Tumblr and my Twitter accounts. Subscribe to me on YouTube, that would help me out a lot. And that's it for now. I will see you next time, and you take care. Later.